So what I want you to do is stand here, hit these creeps, and aggro them here. And the reason I want you to do that is because Axe is not in position to tank them right now. If Axe is standing right here, you should be able to let him do whatever he wants with the creeps. If he wants to pull them under tower and last at them, that's fine. If he wants to tank them, that's fine. If he wants to grab them all and run mid with them, whatever, that's his prerogative, right? But like he's not in a position to act on this at all, so you have to act on it. You have to aggro these, and you have to make sure he doesn't lose them. Alright guys, welcome back. This is weekly coaching number 4 with King Louie. That was a very long break there in between. Last time we did one was in September 28th. Yes. Anyway, we're back now. We went on a trip to Boston and New Hampshire, and then we went to the International. So I have some stories about that for later. But yeah, today we're doing weekly coaching. We're finally back to it, and I'm excited to get back into it. So here we go. Alright, Louie, what's the MMR right now?
943.
943. Yeah, I saw you went up a little bit. That's pretty good since last time. Okay, so all right, mostly position 4 games though. So did you have a specific replay that you had in mind for this week that you wanted to look at? Because if not, I was going to say what we could do is go back to what we were talking about for week 1 and look at like farming, but also the homework for week 3. We should talk about that before we do anything else. So the homework for week 3 was practice dragging creeps to your tower or behind it. So did you get any practice on that?
Yeah, I think I did when I was doing it at that time, if that makes sense, because it's been a while.
Okay.
With like my last one, I did it the game I just played with Hoodwinked.
Okay, this one 11-15.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's have a look at this one then. These guys are entirely unranked. What is that? Weird. All right. So so we'll have a look at that and we'll see how that went. And also, were there any questions you've been having like so far about like how stuff is going? Like anything else I should look for? Because otherwise, I'm just gonna try and focus on this.
Sometimes I was gonna say like maybe which is the time to best to like go off to stack to make camps, like whatever. Because I know like sometimes it's like I like sometimes to stay in lanes, all right. Sometimes it's like whatever. But like, when's the correct time to like stack and like pull? If that makes sense.
Yeah, basically, like when's the correct time to like do anything outside of your lane?
Yeah.
Much. Yeah. So that's going to be entirely contextual. There is no solid answer for that. Like I can't just say you can do it at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It's entirely dependent on how the matchup is going between the offlaner and the carry, or the carry and the offlaner, or whatever, or what else is happening in the game. So like if a power rune is spawning, like that would become a priority. And it's a little bit different between the 4 and the 5. So if you're the 5, it's a little bit more your job to sit in lane kind of and make sure the carry is okay over everything else. Whereas the off lane, it's kind of more okay for you to lead him. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not a 100%. So that's like, we just have to look at examples and see how it looks. Because if it's like, you know, Axe has his Vanguard at 5 minutes or something crazy like that, you know, you can usually just leave him whenever you want, but maybe not. I mean, you know, what if there's like 4 heroes in his lane? Maybe you got to stick around or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. Good little first blood there. That's good.
I went to like try shackle them and there's TPing, but then like they got away.
That's fine. I mean, you got the kill. So we're gonna look at any creep dragging. That needs to not do that. Game, please don't do that. That just jumped me 3 minutes ahead. Whoops. Let's back this up again. I want to put it on free camera, and I want to put it on, no, player view. I want to put it on your camera. Let's watch the game from your perspective.
Okay.
Also, I'm not going to do any music this week because it makes it too hard to edit, and also there's too many YouTube ads. It's basically, so like I suppose the golden rule for like if you're gonna leave lane is if the other person in your lane is okay without you. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just the golden rule. Like if Axe can't even walk up to the creeps because you're not there, then you can't leave him.
Yeah.
If he's totally fine, like he's last hitting and denying and whatever, like totally doesn't need you, then you can go do other stuff. So like right now, this rotation is good. This is kind of a good time to do this because they can't threaten the Axe, right? So
Yeah.
so you've done this pull. Now, ideally, we would want to put this on free camera again. Ideally, we'd want to contest this pull. So, just so you know, just what we don't want to happen is that all these creeps right here run past the pull, and then Axe is up here contesting, and he's missing all these creeps. So if Axe doesn't grab them, what he's supposed to do, if you do a pull that's actually gonna do this because you've just pulled a wave independently. So like this pull causes problems sometimes because they have a full wave and you have a full wave. So that means that when you pull this wave is still something to be dealt with. And usually what's going to happen, especially if the offlaner is not paying attention, is the wave is going to push right past all this stuff and just die under tower, and we don't want that. So what happens is if you do a pull like this, not that this pull is like wrong or never okay to do, but he has to then grab these creeps and either connect them or just tank them right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Because effectively this hasn't changed anything except for the equilibrium. It's just added 3 neutral creeps to a lane. Like,
yeah.
But the other team still cares about these creeps, and you guys still care about these creeps. So Axe being over here is not good, right? But on the flip side, you're ignoring it too. So you guys are both just like missing a whole wave.
I think I was still in XP range.
Sure, but you know, you guys want to be getting those last hits too. So if Axe isn't going to get them, I want you to be getting them.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we did this pull with 2 creeps here. Marcy intercepts. Okay. These creeps aren't damaging fast enough because she did that intercept. So what I want you to do is stand here, hit these creeps, and aggro them here. And the reason I want you to do that is because Axe is not in position to tank them right now. If Axe is standing right here, you should be able to let him do whatever he wants with the creeps. If he wants to pull them under tower and last hit them, that's fine. If he wants to tank them, that's fine. If he wants to grab them all and run mid with them, whatever, that's his prerogative, right? But like he's not in a position to act on this at all, so you have to act on it. You have to aggro these, and you have to make sure he doesn't lose them. Now you could grab them and like wrap them all the way around the river and pull them behind the tower or whatever the hell, just like stall them so they don't die under tower. Or you can just pull them over here and aggro them to this wave, and effectively it's just like the wave is here now with a neutral camp. All right.
Okay.
Any questions about any of that?
Nah, I get that.
Okay, because it's very, very important that you guys are not missing these creeps in the early game.
Okay.
You guys need to be getting the XP on these, and you need to be getting the last hits on them. And if Axe can't get the last hits, then I want you to farm this entire wave. It's more important than almost anything else here, okay? Like, like a stack, whatever, that's fine, you know, but this is an entire wave. This is the whole game right now. For the next 5 minutes, this is kind of all that matters. Like, even like water runes, like I would be hesitant to rotate away from this to grab like a water rune because it's a whole wave. You know what I mean? That's why I was saying maybe what you have to do is like aggro it and drag it with you to whatever else you're gonna do, because it's like it's super important these don't die without you guys killing them.
Yeah, I think I stayed for like the 1 hit on the 1, and then I got the XP on it on them, and then when I saw him that he could get the XP, I went away.
Yeah. So ideally, what this would look like, honestly, it would be that Axe is paying attention, or you're paying attention, and you aggro them here, or Axe grabs them and does whatever he wants with them, and then you get to walk over here and do this.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit off timing, just a little bit, because you see this, no one's getting this creep, right? Yeah, that's 1 missed, and then Axe abandons what he's doing to run back for this. Gets that one. Okay, but now you're stacking. All right. I like where your head's at. You're trying to do things outside of the lane, but the creeps really are the priority, like over everything else. Everything else is secondary to that.
Okay.
Just so long as somebody's getting them, you know. Now there can
Yeah.
be extreme cases, you know, like they're diving your mid and maybe you gotta like miss a wave to like go do that or something like that. But that's really a judgment call. More often than
Yeah.
not, I'm just gonna say prioritize the creeps. That's what the
Okay.
lane phase is for, right? But anyway, good double stack here. You could make this even better, by the way. So while Axe is doing this, he really doesn't have much to do, but he does have a double wave. He could pull them
Mm.
himself here or whatever the hell. But he's got a double wave. He should be mostly fine. So in this time where you're stacking, you can run over here and help mid secure the water rune.
Oh,
And
okay.
basically what that would look like is you would hit these creeps here. You can see my mouse cursor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd hit these creeps, you pull them, and then you'd hit these creeps, and you'd pull them down these stairs right here, and then you should be getting there right around the time the water rune is spawning. You're in position to contest it.
Oh,
And, you know,
okay.
if Necro doesn't need it, fine, you take it. But you don't want the mid to be able to get it, or you don't want the other support to come rotate and get it, right? Because then you've done
Okay.
3 things at once. You've given Axe solo XP, you've made 2 stacks for either mid or Axe or whatever, and you've secured a rune. And then in all that time, you can then be like, okay, what do I do now? Because maybe now you're here, you're in position to threaten her. Or there's no kill here. Okay, fine, I'm going to wrap around and go back to lane, you know?
Okay.
It's sort of just getting as much as you can out of every movement you're making. Okay, we can speed it up here. Okay, I haven't seen you drag the creeps behind tower at all. Does that happen this game?
Do you mean like bring it all the way around?
Yes, all the way around. Like you basically like just skip it. Like you just grab them here and you pull them to here, or you pull them to here.
That I didn't really do that because like Axe literally kept spinning, if that makes sense. So I just kept
Yeah.
pulling the lane, if that
No,
makes sense.
okay, that's
like
fine.
into the
But do you have a game or an example where that you did do that, or
um.
does it happen in this game?
I think I do maybe like do it maybe later, like once, but
Okay.
that's literally when we dive, because we like dive the tower and like I pulled it like round, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right. We'll have a look at it and see if it comes up. I would also say that the items you have queued up, so that magic stick and the Wraithband recipe, don't actually match the way you're playing.
Oh,
So it's good you guys kill him here. But because
what's
because you're opting to roam around a little bit more,
yeah,
what I would prioritize for you is cheap mana regen, like clarities, and I prioritize
yeah,
your boots. Because this is kind of like Axe sort of looks like he's chilling, he looks like he's okay, he's hitting his items like on time, right? He could have Vanguard right now, it's 4 minutes. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
good. So we've given Axe a good lane by doing pulls and getting a couple kills and stuff like that. I mean, I think you guys have let's see. Yeah, you guys have 2 kills up here. So like you've given Axe a good lane. And that means
Yeah.
you don't have to sit here with him all the time. If you want to, you can, but I feel like this is a game where you could start influencing the other lanes at this point. Because Axe is good.
Okay.
He's got a Vanguard at 4 minutes. That's awesome, right? At this point, if Axe dies, it's completely on him. He's level 4 and he has a Vanguard. Any death he has from this point on is effectively just his fault because he always has the option to run back and go farm jungle creeps at this point, and it's not even inefficient for him. But that's
Okay.
because he's level 4 and he has Vanguard. It's not the kills, it's the fact that that's like his status right now, right? So
Okay.
this is where we could go start leaning on mid. Like, oh, Necro's winning mid. What if we go help him win even harder? Or you can stay up here and help Axe win harder too. That's fine. You know what I
I
mean?
think I tried to go to Necro the one time, but then like he died, and
Okay.
then yeah, like I tried to like run out, like I was trying to do a stack, and then I noticed that he was in a bit trouble,
Yeah.
and then I was like I tried to get over to him, but then he died,
Oh, okay, okay.
and
So just a thing, like generally for your games, it does depend on the heroes that are in the game. So I'd say Necro is sort of a bad example, actually. Um, when when you're ready to start roaming, what you want to do is you want to kind of roam around the heroes that are going to be getting active. So if you
okay,
feel like Slark is the one that's going to be running at heroes and trying to kill them, you go play with Slark. If you feel like Necro is the one that's going to start ganking everybody, you go play with him. If you feel like Axe is the one doing that, play with him, right? It's basically whoever your playmaker is, you go with
Yeah.
them, go kill people. That's like the mid game, right, for a support.
Yeah. I thought Axe was the biggest
Yeah,
playmaker probably.
at this point, he's not. At this point, he and Necro are pretty similar. They're just like sustained guys in lane. They're not really looking to make plays. I'd say this Slark kind of has potential to do stuff. I don't know if you want to sit down here and sap his XP, but this is why you can go help out the mid more, because the mid is probably the one that's going to get active the soonest in general.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of doesn't really matter that it's a Necro. It's just that Necro is going to start doing things earlier than everybody else. So going and helping him is good. And then also by helping him, you're also hurting Dawnbreaker. So you're hurting their main playmaker from doing anything, right?
Okay.
So that just kind of guarantees that you guys have tempo. Yeah, see, if you hadn't bought these things, you would have your boots right now. See, because like this wand isn't doing anything for you. You have one charge. And that's because you're not sitting here, and these heroes don't even spam that much. Like Ursa and Marcy are not really heroes you need to stick against. They don't cast spells enough.
Oh, because I noticed the Ursa kept doing the not the Fury. What's his other one?
His Fury or his Overpower.
Yeah, that one. He kept doing that. He kept you doing that a lot. So
Sure, yeah. But this is kind of like you buy a stick or a wand when you're like gonna be in lane for a very long time, and you're gonna get a lot of charges out of that because it is 200 gold, right? And you know, every time they cast a spell, you get 15 health and mana. That's only valuable if you're gonna be like almost maxing that stick out all the time. You know what I mean? And I would actually say even upgrading the magic stick to the wand is kind of a big decision.
Yeah, I do know like
that's 150 gold, which is just because it's like it's early, you know what I mean? Like 150 gold for you is the difference between, you know, having sentries and boots and dust and smoke and all that stuff ready to go, you know.
Yeah. Could he just die? I just sat in mid, so I thought like I can get the solo XP from mid over.
Yep. That's fine. That's fine. I would want to also be prioritizing this wisdom rune sometime soon before this Marcy comes and takes it.
Yeah, I think I go after this one.
Yeah, there's two big objectives right now, and it's this rune and this rune. Okay, you got one of them. That's good. About a minute late though. So what I would want to see is actually all the way back here at around 6:30. You're thinking about the wisdom rune, and if it were me right now, I'd be like, okay, Axe has a full wave in front of him. He has his Vanguard. They can't threaten him. I would tell the Axe, I'm leaving for Wisdom Rune, and I would run here right now. And you can stack this camp while you're waiting for it. If the timing works out really nicely, you stack this at 6:53, and then you get this rune.
Okay.
This is more of a priority because the supports want this as well. So if Marcy comes over here and steals this, it's bad for you. It's very bad. It's more important than this. Because it's not just your XP, it's also Dazzle's XP as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I think I asked the Axe was Marcy still in lane at the time. He said yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I would say in future though, next time you're in that position, you're in that like the 7-minute stack or whatever is coming up, prioritize going to the wisdom rune. Yeah.
Wisdom.
Go here, stack this camp, get this, more important. That's gonna help you out more in the long run. And then as you get in the habit of like you're doing that every single game, you are here at 7 minutes on this wisdom rune, you can then start deciding, oh, I can grab that later because I know where Marcy is. She just TP'd bottom. There's no way she's getting here in time. Like I have time to come do this later. Other than that, like the higher and higher you go, the more the enemy team is going to bring heroes here and try and steal this from you.
Okay.
Like they are rotating to this. They're treating this as an objective. It's like the 6-minute power rune, the 7-minute wisdom rune, the 8-minute power rune, and people are rotating to that. They're not ignoring it.
Okay.
So the earlier you do that, the better, because it is an advantage for your team.
Do I need to do that on every rune, or is it just the first one, the main one?
If you can like remember to do it on every single power rune and wisdom rune, you're gonna shoot up like 2,000 MMR.
Because I know it's like every 7 minutes, like 7, like 14,
Yeah.
21. Like,
As you go later in the game, it becomes harder to get there on time because just so much stuff is going on. You know, I mean, if we're literally
okay.
talking about the 70-minute wisdom rune, right? Maybe you're not allowed to walk over there right now. You know, maybe other stuff is going on like Roche or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
I would say yeah, like 7, 14, 21-minute runes, like make sure you're there on time.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's still part of the game where people are roaming around and kind of doing whatever they want to an extent. They're not stuck in team fight mode, you know? So you have time to
Okay.
do it. This is sad. Okay. I would say that's not on you. Don't worry about that death. Hacks can figure that out. You're doing other things right now. If you were here for this power rune, or this would be even better. Again, stacking
Yeah.
like this. Um,
Okay.
and then also, I would say if you're going to stack them this much, these are triple stacks, you do need to be thinking about, because this is not going to be correct in every single game. Sometimes,
I like I, I
yeah,
normally do it depending on like the offlaner. So if the offlaner can like take them, I'll do it. So like if it's like axe or bristleback,
yeah, okay,
like I'll stack them a lot. But then if it's not, I'll only do like two and like maybe what two ancients and maybe like one.
sure, okay. I just wanted to
Like
make sure you were thinking about it.
oh
All right.
yeah.
So, okay, I haven't seen any creep dragging here. Do you have another one where you think that happens?
Not so much because I end up playing like position 5 the like majority of my other games.
Okay. All right, that's
I think
fine.
I think I think there is like a time like we got like we dived the Ursa
Mhm.
and then like it was like 'cause he was like solo or something like that.
All right, we'll speed ahead and try and find it. The other thing I would say is I know you're used to kind of buying this Wraith Band all the time, but you
Yeah.
do kind of need to get out of the habit of doing that.
Okay.
It's just wasted gold on your hero. You don't need the stats. Um, because you're not sitting there last hitting constantly, it's not efficient for you to buy an item that kind of really is meant for that.
What item would you suggest going in instead?
Oh, okay. So early game items are going to be regen, obviously, lots of regen. Your boots,
Okay.
like kind of, you want your boots when you're ready to start roaming. If you're not ready to start roaming yet, you don't need to prioritize the boots. Or if it's
Okay.
heroes that specifically kill you if you don't have boots, like an Ursa or a Juggernaut or something like that, like then, or a
Yeah.
Pudge maybe, you can prioritize the boots for that. Other than that, boots are sort of like, okay, I'm done with the lane, I'm ready to do other stuff, I'm buying my boots now. Um,
Okay.
so what I would prioritize is I would
But
only
like say
prioritize the wand if you're against heroes that stick is very good against. So if I'm against a Skywrath, a PA, a Bristle, a Batrider, you know, something like that, then
okay.
I might buy a full wand if my stick is already full. If I have 10 charges on my stick and it seems like it's still like a good stick game, okay, I'll get the full wand, but I'm not gonna prioritize a wand over a lot of other things if the stick isn't full. It's gonna be pretty much anything else except that. It's kind of
Okay.
it's a total bait. People buy it because they get kind of triggered by their inventory being too full of stuff. And I'd say that's kind of the only other time where it's like sort of okay to upgrade your wand is if your entire backpack is full and you still are sitting on a stick and two branches, maybe buy the wand just for the efficiency of the space. Other than that, it should be your lowest priority.
Okay. Like,
Yep.
but what? So like, say like it's early,
Hmm.
and I have like maybe like 500 gold. Like I have boots and I have 500 goldish. Like what I would have bought on
You start
the
working
Wraith
on
Band.
you start working on your next item at that point. So I'll
Okay.
do you want me to, I'll pull up one of my replays. How about that? That might
Yeah.
help you. So let's see. Here, let's pick a game I was winning in because that makes more sense, right? Let's take this Grimstroke game. It sort of depends on the hero as well. Like if you know what your next items are going to be, I feel like Venge has the most variability in what she can do early with her items. Um,
Yeah.
so on Venge, I was feeding in this game apparently. I remember this game was frustrating. So let's see. So in this one, I apparently prioritized Windlace because of the lane. I think I was against the Slardar, so I wanted that to try and help me survive that. I get my stick.
Okay.
Notice I'm still not getting a wand, Okay,
Yeah.
finally got one, but when I'm buying it, it's at the same time as like my boots, and you see
Okay.
what I mean? Like I'm still getting that, and then I get my tranquils. And then after that, at this point, you're pretty much just deciding what other like maybe small items you need, or what's it called? Whatever mid game item is you're gonna get. So in this game, I opted for Glimmer. So
Okay.
that's what my goal is going towards. Or I got my raindrops and then I went for a Glimmer. Let's have a look. Maybe there's another one. Be a good example. I am derping out right now. Let's see. That was that one. And that game was a loss, by the way. So maybe that wasn't correct. It's okay. I am Venge. I am Venge CM in this game. I'm Venge in this game. So same thing here. We went to stick. Okay, I did buy a wand early in this one, but in this one I'm against. Let's see. I was against the Skywrath in this one, so he was spamming a lot. But then I'm getting my boots, and then I'm immediately working on a Solar Crest.
Okay.
And I'm still just sitting on brown boots. Let's see. And then I'm actually buying wand a lot more. Not the best example. Yeah, that's a better example. So in this one, I opted for a bracer early because I don't know, maybe I was ahead or something like that. Get my stick, get my boots, and then I'm buying other
how
stuff.
come you went for the bracer over the Wraith Band?
I don't remember. I probably felt like the damage was important, or that they had a lot of burst and the health was important, was probably like that's when I would typically go for bracers. It's like I feel like I'm going to be fighting a lot, and that extra health and damage and little bit of regen is going to be helping me out a lot. Other than that, if I feel like I'm just roaming and doing all the other stuff like stacking and whatever, then I'm not going to prioritize bracer. That's sort of like a super duper like high tempo game where it's like I'm fighting nonstop, Or if I just get ahead early, like I get first blood or something like that, and I get to start with the item.
Okay.
So we'll just run through my item progression in this one. It's also partly because I started with the circlet.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I may as well finish it into something. But I don't know. I'm actually, even though Venge is a universal hero, I'm still not feeling like it's actually correct to buy these bracers. I see people do it sometimes. I was watching Insania's, like sometimes he goes double bracers, sometimes he just goes one bracer. I think it's just a feel thing.
Oh, okay.
So I suppose this would be an instance where I didn't feel like stick was super important in this, because Phoenix doesn't cast spells often enough.
Okay.
And I don't need tangos. Maybe it looks like AM has enough regen, so I don't need to buy anything for him. I don't need my boots in this lane, right? So it's kind of just
Is that because he can blink and like they can like just dive away?
No, it's because like I don't think like Wraith King is not really the type of hero that's gonna like run me down and click me over and over. These guys are just kind of gonna throw their spells and burst you. So
okay.
That's like kind of. I mean, raindrops aren't even good in this because this is all dots, and he doesn't typically do enough damage with Wraith Blast. So this is sort of a lane where I'm like, okay, boots don't really matter in my lane, stick doesn't really matter in my lane, raindrops don't really matter. So I'm just gonna opt for health and regen. So this is sort of, I feel like this is a decent bracer game. But who knows? I mean, maybe it wasn't. I did lose this game.
Just like best like alternative to anything else, like.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, bracer does a lot, especially if you're a universal hero, because it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, but it's like what 0.6 per stat or something like that. So when you, I mean, we can look at it real quick. Okay, I gotta get it.
Would you ever get like the armor over the health, or is it always the
I've just been going with the bracer because I like the health regen. I think Null Talisman is a terrible item. I wouldn't opt for a Null Talisman unless I was specifically like, maybe if I was like Skywrath or Enchantress or OD. Other than that, I wouldn't buy it. Alright, so basically, okay, I have 54 damage right now.
Would you get it on a silencer, by the way?
Usually no, because I feel like Silencer doesn't have the liberty of not buying movement speed and escape items, so those would be like sort of a waste of money. Unless I was like
Okay.
mid silencer. I don't play mid a lot, but if I was like mid silencer and I was having a good lane, maybe I'd go for like double null talismans or something.
Okay.
But usually it's kind of the worst of those three items, like bracer, wraithband, and null talisman.
Yeah.
Null talisman's kind of the crappiest one.
Yeah.
Um,
I normally get just Wraithband for, like for the armor normally.
Yeah, and
It's
you're
like
playing Hoodwink, so Wraithband makes sense. But like if I'm playing Avenge and I buy a Wraithband, okay, I got my what is that doing? That's giving me 3 armor and 6 damage, plus a little bit of attack speed, right? If you buy a Bracer, you're going from 54 damage to 63 damage. It's actually
okay.
9 damage because of all the
Okay.
stats plus the health regen. Plus you've got an extra, what, 100 health. Strength is 20 health per point, right? So yeah, that's usually why you can go for bracers, because it's just like, look how much damage you have right now, like 74 damage. Like, it's kind of crazy. That's why I would opt
Oh, okay.
for bracers over a wraithband typically. I think this can be okay too, though. Like maybe if you're against like, I don't know, just a lot of physical damage, maybe the armor can be more helpful. But usually as a support, you're not going to buy these items. You're only going to buy these items, maybe one of them, and only if you're doing well, and only if none of the other items really make sense are you going to do this.
Oh, okay.
Because it's usually better to just spend this gold on like actually working towards an item, like getting this, making sure you have a stick, right? Getting all of your, whatever, all this crap that you might need in the early game, all this stuff, right? And then just
Yeah.
working on like your next like little item, like a medallion, or you're finishing your boots. That kind of counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if that answers the question so much, because sometimes you end up with your inventory looking like this. You
Yeah.
supports have to carry so much different stuff.
Yeah. Like I noticed, like my bag would sometimes be like a lot full,
Yeah.
and they'd have to like just keep it in my backpack a lot of the time.
Right. That's one way you can go for a wand or something to clear up some space, or. But all
Yeah.
right. Do you have it's 35 minutes. I think we should call it there and look at our notes.
Yeah.
So let's see. Um so we didn't have any dragging stuff there. So the main thing is so when your question was like, when are you allowed to leave the lane, basically, right?
Yeah.
So that is only if the core is okay without you. Basically,
Okay.
that's it. So if
If the
he's
core's
gonna be fine,
like
go ahead.
if they're like losing lane, but like mid's like 50-50, could I say like could I go gank there, or do I still stay in lane?
I would be careful about that, because I think typically the way you should look at it is, so let's ask that. So losing lane, mid is 50-50. Do we rotate to mid? I would say you're only allowed to go mid to try for a kill if
Yeah.
the guy you're playing with, the core, has something else he can do. Like, okay, I'm losing my lane. I'm going to lose even harder if you're not here. But that's okay, because I can back up into the jungle. Like, I'm not so far behind that I can't farm jungle creeps. So I'll go do that
Okay.
while you're doing this important thing. But that really requires a lot of communication between you and the
Okay.
core. He needs to know exactly how to play it while you're not there, and you need to actually make that thing in mid work. So I would opt
Okay.
away from that. I would say if you're losing your lane, um, and like you feel like you could actually swing it if you stayed in your lane, you should stay there. The only time you should
Okay.
lose a lane when you're like you should leave a lane when you're losing it is if there's like nothing you can do. It's like, okay, they're just too far ahead. This is a bad matchup. I'm gonna go to the other lane and try and make something happen. And this guy has to go to the
Okay.
jungle now. That sucks, but that's certainly better than just repeatedly going back to the same lane and feeding over and over. So what I would say is, like, maybe to make it easy on yourself, if you die 3 times in lane, don't go back to that lane. Just make it
Okay.
real simple, you know? That's not going to be correct 100% of the time, but just give yourself an idea of like the point at which this is not worth investing anymore. We'll just say 3 deaths.
Okay.
Don't go back anymore. Do something else. Um, that should go for cores as well, by the way. That's kind of how cores should play. But anyway, now if your lane is okay, let's say your lane is like 50-50, you know, but mid is
Mm.
important. Mid is like a super snowbally lane, like an SF Quap or something like that, or it's like Ember Spirit,
Yeah.
Void Spirit. And the runes are very important. Rotating for those runes is going to be super important. And I'd say in general, you should always try and leave for the 6 minute and the 8 minute rune minimum. And
Okay.
the problem is at your level, no one else is thinking like that. So in Guardian,
I
no one's playing like
I
that.
I was trying to like I try to think if I can try gank mid if I have a look if I can do anything at level 4
Yeah.
normally. Is that would that be roughly the like the mark or no?
It depends on the hero. Like if your hero needs that to get a kill, you know, I mean, if you're like Lion and you're level 2 and you smoke and you have a Earth Spike and Hex, that can be enough, right? But if
Okay.
you're say, I don't know, a Tusk, maybe you want to wait till level 3 so you have your full combo or something like that. Or if you're a Hoodwink, right? Like you don't want to just gank with Acorn Shot. You want to try and make sure you also have Bushwhack, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that just depends on what hero you're playing. The higher level you are, the higher likelihood of success for sure. So I would say I would opt away from trying to gank mid for now. I'm not saying you're not supposed to gank mid. I'm just saying like you're gonna throw more games trying to make that happen than you are. It's gonna actually help you.
Oh, okay.
Because partly the problem is at your level, like pretty low down. I would say even all the way up to maybe legend. The things the supports are supposed to be doing only work if the cores understand them.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you cut the creeps and drag them behind your tower, that only works if your core knows that like, oh, my support did that and there's no creeps here, and he doesn't just run to the enemy tower and start punching it. Because I've seen people do that in like ancient. Like they don't
Oh,
understand. They're like, where are the creeps? Because they have no map awareness, right? Or like
yeah.
that axe being way out of position when the next wave was going to come in. Like you pulled, and like had you not pulled, the axe wouldn't have missed those creeps. And if the
Yeah.
axe had been on top of it and you did that pull, he wouldn't have missed any creeps. But he wasn't ready for you to do the advanced thing. So it
Okay.
actually messed him up. And it can be the same thing. Like if you go leave your lane, you're like, oh, I'm going to go through the twin gate and try and gank top. And then your core is like not ready for you to do that and dies. There's like the philosophy that you should always just do whatever is correct for your game and eventually that'll help you rank up. But
Yeah.
I think when it gets to like low level, like really low ranks, you actually do need to start adjusting and playing a little bit more inefficiently or a little bit more safely before you can
Okay.
kind of do that. What I would say is maybe you could just go ahead and try it. Like you could try playing for like a week or something where you're like, I'm just gonna do what I think's correct and see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll kind of see like, all right, maybe we can't always do what's most optimal because not everybody kind of gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to go with
Yeah.
the suboptimal a little bit and make that work.
Like play with the bracket.
Sort of, yeah. You don't want to get stuck playing just whatever your bracket is, but you also do need to adjust to what's going on in the game, and you also need to adjust to like what's probably going to happen if you do this, right?
Okay.
So it's a little bit like, let's say you're playing a core, um, and you're like, I don't need to buy mana regen because my supports are going to buy arcane boots. And so you just start relying on them to do things. At a higher level, that's supposed to work. You're supposed to be like, I don't need mana regen because I have two supports that are both going to buy arcane boots, and they're going to make sure that when they use arcane boots, I'm getting hit by it, right? Lower level, they both buy arcane boots, you don't buy mana regen, and then they kind of just use their arcane boots off cooldown or when you're slightly out of range, or they're not even thinking about that at all. They're not even thinking that you need that, right? They just use it for themselves. Like as an
Oh yeah.
example of where you should be able to play more efficiently, but the skill level of the lobby is going to kind of limit how
Hinder me.
reasonable it is to expect that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say for you, where you are, just prioritize the creeps in lane. Only leave when it's absolutely safe, right? And then uh, prioritize power runes and wisdom runes. And that
Okay.
that means like leaving 30 seconds early to get there on time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah. Just like treat it like I would stacking.
exactly, same kind of thing. Like the runes are super important. So start thinking
Yeah.
about that. That'll be important. And we'll say that's the homework.
Okay.
Those three things. So making sure nobody's missing the creeps. That's actually I'm gonna rephrase this. So make sure no one is missing the creeps in lane, and then only leave when we're
If
not gonna say
if
absolutely safe. We're just gonna say safe. Only leave when it's
if
safe.
this like say the core dies around like 6 minutes, like 30 or something,
Mhm.
and there's like a wave coming, do I go to the ruin or like take the creeps?
If it's a big wave, if it's like a really big wave, let's say it's like a double wave, I would stay there for the wave. I mean, because what like the wisdom rune is what XP, right?
Yeah.
So that's creeps. So that's where just I'd just take the creeps and I'd farm them.
Okay.
Now, if the offlaner is going to respawn in time to TP back to the lane, and you can just stall those creeps outside a tower and make sure they're still alive for him, that's more optimal. Keep them alive.
Okay.
Offlaner comes back. Once he's there, then you leave and go get the wisdom rune. But if he can't get back in time, then just farm him because that's XP and gold. It's better than a wisdom rune. And then hopefully the
Okay.
wisdom rune's still there. But if it's not, you got a double wave, right?
Okay.
But I really wouldn't like. I kind of wouldn't ever run away from a creep that's dying. I would make sure I'm at least nearby while it's dying. Like I'm always going to try and last hit it while I'm making my way there, um, because that's just XP as well. But the only time you're going to kind of like drop things for the wisdom rune is if you know the enemy support's kind of going there. Like it's okay if you get there like a couple seconds late, but I'm just saying like make it your goal to be
To get
there
it.
at 7 minutes when it spawns. That's the goal. It's not always going to happen, but
Yeah.
that should be what you're aiming to do. Like it's 7 minutes, I'm already there. No one needs to remind me. I'm there. I got it.
Oh,
And
okay.
and
Yeah.
when you're playing uh when you're playing the five, if you guys are stomping your lane, you should try and do the same thing. You should try and leave, and you should go steal their power rune.
Say my core and my support doesn't get it, do I go get the ruin at all? Or no.
If yeah, so like it's the same thing. It's like if you think the enemy is going to come pick it up, then you take it.
Okay.
If you think they're not going to pick it up, then you can go greedy and you can leave it for your support. But that's
Okay.
entirely contextual. Same thing with power runes, right? Let's say you go to mid to get the power rune, and the mid is not in position to actually take it, and sometimes they say just take the rune, right? You ever had
Mhm.
that happen to you before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. It's just you take it, so the enemy team doesn't take it, right?
Okay.
Because if the enemy team takes it, they get the advantage. So I'd rather my team has the advantage. Same thing with cores, like if you're playing carry, it's like, oh, my support's not in position to grab the wisdom rune, and he's not going to get it anytime soon, and maybe they're going to take it. If I don't take it, I'll just take it. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. These are none of these are like hard and fast rules. It is, keep in mind, it's your team against
Game.
their team, and you're fighting over
Okay.
advantages, and it's more important that your team has the advantage than the specific person on your team has the advantage. That's optimizing.
Okay.
It's just like, no, if I can take 500 gold away from the enemy team, like I'm going to do that every single time. Ideally it
Okay.
goes on the carry, but I don't really care. I just want 500 gold on my team.
Okay.
It's like people get pissed off about first blood or stealing kills. It's like, no, don't worry about it. Just get the kill.
Yeah.
Like you're allowed to like try to give the kill to someone else if it's super obvious they're going to get it, but other than that, don't gamble. Just fucking steal the kill if it's first blood. Like who cares? Just grab it. Because
Okay.
what you don't want to happen is you don't want to be like trying to be all efficient and then you miss the kill or you don't get the rune, right? That's the worst
Yeah,
case scenario.
like
Like
they
you
get away.
yeah, you're just playing with your food at that point. So, and that happens. That totally happens. So that, like, the higher you go, the more that stupid mistake waits, where people are trying to be too greedy or too efficient. Don't worry about it. Just, it's you against the enemy team, right? So
Okay.
yeah, think of it like that. It's more important. That's why I was saying, when you went to go stack, it was more important that you actually sat there and made sure those creeps were okay. And if Axe couldn't get them, I want you to last hit them, because that's an advantage for your team.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We'll call it there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Any other questions? Are we good there?
No, that'll be good. Thank you.
Okay, for sure, man. And good job.
Just,
I'm
just,
seeing improvement. I like that you're thinking about all this stuff. So that's good. So keep that up.
thank you.
No problem. Have a good one.
Have a good one. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, if that was helpful, don't forget to check out the playlist at the end of the video, and check me out on Twitch. I stream every weekday, 2:30 p.m. PST onwards. I might start earlier, though. I kind of want to start earlier, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, these are recorded on Thursdays, as you can see. So if you want to log in live for these, you can do that there. Also, check out my Discord channel, and don't forget, I'm always looking for more coaching students. So if you're interested in getting coached, just leave a comment down below. Join my Discord, message me there, and hopefully we can work something out. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.